All right. Hello. What's up, everyone? Color Code here. I go by Eric sometimes too, but welcome to my first production video. So today I'm going to be walking you guys through my West Side remix, West Side by Ariana Grande, which is now available on my SoundCloud page. Yeah, let's get to it. So what I'm going to do first is kind of just briefly go through my track stacks. And then once I'm through with that, I'm going to take it section by section and kind of just solo out some important parts and then explain if I need to. All right, so first we have the vocal stack. Obviously, it's a remix. It's vocal sampled. It's not the best quality in the world. I ripped it off of YouTube. I did as much as I can to make it sound decent. I put some parallel compression. I de-essed the hell out of the higher frequencies. A lot of weird stuff that it picked up. Whoever was making the acapella from the original song, you could still kind of hear the weird high-pitched, like squeaky frequencies. So I did as much as I can with that. Wasn't the best, but whatevs. All right, so that's my vocal stack, and then I have my instrument stack. It looks intimidating. It looks like there's a lot going on here. It's really not. So the song's motif is based off of a single arpeggiated kind of like rhythm or melody, and these are all just, they're all playing the same thing, just different instruments. Obviously, like I have some marimba sounding stuff. I have some like very other plucky type things going on, but nonetheless, it's all kind of playing the same stuff. Okay, so down here, I have my bass instruments. Not really a lot going on. The busiest part of the song would be drop 1B. Here I have like a little bass pluck going on to kind of make it pop through the mix. You'll hear it when I play through that part, but yeah, that's all the bass stuff and like a simple little arpeggiated twinkle thingy right here. All right, so those are the instruments, the keys, and the bass, and then here's my drum track or my drum stack. Pretty basic, kick, clap, hi-hat stuff. Yeah, I'll go more into detail once this part comes. Some percussion, yeah, drum parallel compression, make it sound a little more poppy. And then here's my pad section. I don't have a lot of pads, but it's very subtle. By itself, it doesn't sound really like that exciting, but when it sits on top of the mix, you could barely hear it. It sounds really cool. All right, and then some random effects going on, like some white noise, some sweeps, pretty standard stuff. Here are my vocal chop samples. I had a lot of fun with this. This is probably the most exciting part of the song. You'll hear it once it gets to the drop. All right, here some random ambience, just some background noise. Nothing tonal either, just literally random noise. It just sounds really cool in some parts. All right, and is there nothing in this track? I don't know what this is doing here, but I can get rid of it. All right, cool. So, and I also wanted to say just real quick, when you're listening to this, the music will probably sound a little dull and muddy. I promise you my mixdown doesn't really sound like that, but I'm still trying to make my way around OBS and how to get the best sounding audio quality. So if anybody has any suggestions, please feel free to let me know. Appreciate you. Let me play you the intro section with everything. I'll repeat it to explain some else. Here's the arpeggiated melody that I was talking about. Pretty much the whole song is based off of this. And here's that pad. Like I said, it doesn't sound that really exciting, but when it sits on top of the mix, it sounds really pretty. So this vocal chop right here, so that's actually from Ariana Grande's, what's the song called? Be Alright, We're Gonna Be Alright, which was originally what I wanted to make this composition a remix of at first, but I kind of dropped it. It was like over a year ago, but I really, really liked this vocal chop right here, so I decided to keep it for this one. very Ariana Grande. Alright. Now we're going to move on to the verse, or the vocal introduction.
I just wanna feel. You know that it ain't no crime. Let me keep it real. Just let me be in your life like that. In your life like that. I'll bring the light right back. I'll bring the light right back. I'm gonna make.
As you can see, I did a lot of EQing out of the high random, like weird pitchy frequencies. You can kind of tell that it's still there, but you know, it is what it is. What else do I got going on here? Here's my de-esser. As you can see, I put it way the hell down here because there's a lot of tss and you know, a lot of weird just high frequencies going on, and it just doesn't sound all that nice with it. And so I did as much as I can with the EQing and the de-essing part of it, or de-essing of it. And yeah, here's a continuation of that arpeggiated rhythm right here. Playing the same thing, but it's a different timbre of the instrument. Bass pluck. Arpeggiator.
I'll bring the light right back.
So here's the build up now.
I'm gonna be your favorite. Tell me closing the door. I am the only for sure.
You're probably wondering where are the drums at, you know, where's the yeah, I don't think that this song really needed it, to be honest. The focus shouldn't be heavily on the percussion or the drums, so that's why I really like using white noise and a lot of risers. It gives the same effect without, you know, it being a little too overdone with drums. You can easily tell that the drop is going to come. So here is drop 1A. I'll back it up just a little bit. Alright, anything important here? Honestly, no, just kick on all four. Here's some Moobatone inspired percussion right here. Here's drop 1B where it gets a little bit busier. So this vocal chop is also from, excuse me, it's also from We're Gonna Be Alright. And I pretty much, I did a little bit of repositioning of the vocal samples here, but the idea was pretty much what I wanted originally when the remix was supposed to be We're Gonna Be Alright. But that's not the case anymore. It's now West Side, and I still think it sounds really cool. I love, you know, Diplo, DJ Snake, and their use of vocal samples, so I thought it was really I thought it was kind of appropriate and acceptable to use here. There's a bass pluck to kind of just make it pop through the mix a little bit.
I'm gonna make you one more. I'm gonna be your baby.
Not as exciting by itself, but when it sits on top of the mix, it just sounds really, really beautiful.
You shouldn't be no hoarder. Smaller, if you follow emotion. Show up, if you down to roll up. Meet me on the west side, call me harder. You shouldn't be no hoarder. Smaller, if you follow emotion. Show up, if you down to roll up. Meet me on the one that different age. Harder, you shouldn't be no hoarder. Smaller, if you follow emotion. Show up, if
I made this cool little like tropical sounding wah synth that I like to use in a lot of my stuff, and it just sounds so pretty. Alright, what else we got here?
You shouldn't be no harder. Smaller, if you follow emotion. Show up, if you can't roll up. Meet me on the one that different age of touch. It's better every time we chill. You ain't gotta bring no stuff. We got all we need right here. Just let me be in your life like that. Be your wife like that. I'll bring the light right back. I'll bring the life right back. I'm gonna make you a more. I'm gonna be a new favorite. Tell me what's in the door. I am the only for sure. Babe.
Alright, that was probably the most vocal, like the part of the song where it has the vocals to shine the most, and I really, really like it. It sounds really cool. Okay, let's move on to drop 2A. As you can tell, it's a little bit different. It has some elements from the first drop, 1A and 1B, but it's a little bit different. You'll see why. Oops.
I am the only for sure.
The chord progression is a little bit different, but the vibe is still there. Little toy box, this little toy box melody right here that I used off of Pigments, which is really cool. Pigments by Arturia. It's a really nice synth. Let's go back. See a lot of familiar stuff. Alright, let's move on to the end of the song. Drop 2B is pretty much the same thing as drop 1B, except there's no clap going on. It's just, you know, kick and percussion action. And here's that that random ambience, just random noise going on. Sounds kind of cool, like it's at at a park or at a beach or something. Just gives it a more like human-like feel to it.
I am the only for sure.
Alright. So I guess what I'll do now is play the whole thing and kind of just go over my mastering chain as in-depth as possible. Alright, here's the whole thing. So first in my chain is a compressor. Alright, so I put my threshold at 7 dB.
I just wanna feel.
As far as the ratio goes, I like to keep it somewhere between 2 to 4, or 2 to 1 and 3 to 1. Kind of just like a sweet spot there. It doesn't sound too squashed, doesn't sound too digitized. It's kind of just right there. Yeah, I don't really mess with the release or with the makeup setting, but I like to keep my attacks somewhere around like 10 to 11 o'clock, and the release I like to do the same. So not much going on there. The main focus here in the compressor is the threshold and the ratio setting, or the ratio level.
Just let me be in your life like that. In your life like that. I'll bring the light right back.
So I don't know if you can hear me. Here's a single band EQ. I keep the frequency at about 29 hertz. It sounds the most natural to the ear.
Right back. I'll bring the light right back. I'm gonna make you want more. I'm gonna be your baby. Tell me closing the door. I am the only for sure.
This is Logic's adaptive limiter. It's pretty nice. I have to say I use it on pretty much everything that I've made so far. But when it comes to limiting, I do like to use the Waves L2, the maximizer. I'll get to that in a second, but I have two limiters in my mastering chain. The first one is the adaptive limiter native to Logic, and then the Waves L2 ultra maximizer. All right, what's next? I have a multiband compressor. I like the punchy drums setting. Sounds kind of gives it more like oomph, and it's not so like flat. Take it off. Can you tell the difference? Here's it on. Gives it kind of a more like thick and a little bit more of a low end presence. All right, where am I at now? Okay. I have the Isotope Ozone 6 mastering plugin, which is really, really cool. Excuse me 1 second. I got this from a mentor who used to teach at San Jose State. Shout out Steven Vaslu. That's the man right there. This thing is really, really cool. There's a lot of cool presets. I use Control Dynamics because it's not just a loud song, and it's not just like a slow ballad or a quiet ballad either. It kind of has some moments where, you know, the energy rises and then it drops down. So I like to use the Control Dynamics preset. And it has a little limiter of its own in it too. So that's Ozone 6. Really, really cool plugin. And then here's a visualizer. It's called Span by Boxenko. It's a really cool plugin. It's free. It's a visualizer, so you see if anything's Editing that shit will be there. A good rule of thumb is to always trust your ears. You can have as many visual aided plugins as you want, but at the end of the day, when you're listening to a song, you're using your ears. You're not using your eyes. So this can help tremendously, but you should never just rely on that. All right, little gain here to kind of just find a good medium of decibel level. And here's that Waves L2 Ultra Maximizer limiter plugin. It's a really cool buy. And last, I have an imager, so it kind of helps me. It helps show me where everything lies within the stereo spectrum. So let's pick something, or pick a section. Actually, I'll choose an instrument that has a lot more panning going on, so it can show you how that thing works really nice. Give me just a second. I think it's the intro one right here. So like, let's say I wanted to put that stereo imager in. See how it kind of fluctuates and goes left to right. That is because I have it's called a Brower Motion plugin. It's also from Waves. It's a panning tool, but as you can see here, like the visualization of what it's doing in your ears is really cool. Left to right, kind of like back to forward. You can see it in the line.
Just let me be in your life like that. In your life like that. I'll bring the light right back. I'll bring the light right back.
It's a cool plugin right there. It's called the Brower Motion plugin by Waves. All right, that pretty much does it for my mastering chain. So what I'm gonna do now is just play the rest of it and not talk.
Order, you shouldn't be no order. Smaller, if you follow emotion. Show up, if you down a roller. Meet me on the west side, find me. Order, you shouldn't be no order. Smaller, if you follow emotion. Show up, if you down a roller. Meet me on the one that if it ain't your touch. It's better every time we chill. You ain't gotta bring no stuff. We got all we need right here. Just let me be in your life like that. Be your wife like that. I'll bring the light right back. I'll bring the light right back. I'm gonna make you want more. I'm gonna be your new favorite. Tell me what's in the door. I am the only for sure. Babe. I am the only for sure. I am the only for sure.
And there you have it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and watching me. I am going to do a lot more of these things, so I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.